Hey folks, I'm Mr. Muff. I have a 3v3 for you again in the Operation Market Garden mod for Company of Heroes. The person who shared this replay claimed that it would show that the 105 Sherman is in fact good for something. Personally, I'll believe it when I see it. Let's check out the units and get started. First, we have in the top here, turn on the taskbar, we can see what we're looking at. We have in the middle, on the top side, Unlimited. Looks like he's playing Armored. He has this mechanized infantry here, getting the buff from his Greyhound. On the right, we have Brother Glacius, who looks like he is starting with just an infantry support weapon start. Pretty general purpose. Got some rifles here. Wonder if they have grenades on them, because I don't see any other upgrades. On the bottom, we've got Alex running some Rangers, so he's playing infantry. He's got some ambush rifles as well. And a T-17 to scout ahead. On the axis... Whoop, whoop. We've got X1 Alpha. We'll switch to the axis side here so we can see these a little bit better. Starting with an AT gun, some advanced repair, Pioneers, and a Panzer IV. See if there's any other Panzer IVs. Only one Panzer IV. In the middle, we've got Area, starting with, this looks like a defensive officer. Yes, he's got his machine gun there. So he's going to be starting with a bike to scout out locations, and he's got some machine gun grenadiers and machine gun officer, lots of machine guns. And on the left, we've got another sort of general support weapon start from Rockfist with a bike to Stromwagen to scout ahead. So let's hit that play button and get started. So the opening engagement here is going to be Brother Glacius's Jeep does find the Panzer IV on the right from Alpha.
We're ready.
And Unlimited bringing his Greyhound up. Doesn't want to get too close. Of course, the Panzer IV will probably have a hard time hitting this armored car as long as it stays on the move, but nonetheless, a solid hit will do some damage. Now, on the other hand, he can use this armored car to just sort of give his bazooka infantry a buff against that. But meanwhile, over here on the left, Alex is going to fire up to get his Rangers out of suppression from this machine gun. A little bit of a slow probing start here, no real aggressive plays, but I do see that the allies are sort of coalescing on the right here. Alex starting some very early defensive structures. He's got some barbed wire way in the back here and some sandbags. You'd like to see him get a little bit further forward, I suppose, because with the population changes I mentioned in my last video, you're going to start draining pop pretty quickly if you let them fall behind. But on the right side here, looks like Brother Glacius has got his mortar set up and is looking to just sort of whittle down these grenadiers. So a very slow start from both sides, both sort of looking a little bit afraid to probe up who's going to make the first opening move, really. We do see Unlimited's armored car now coming over to chase off this Stromwagen. But yeah, really mostly just a lot of scout vehicles probing around each other. But the first casualty, second casualty in fact, both scout vehicles for the Axis are now down. The Stromwagen and the motorbike, one from the AT gun, one from the armored car. But other than that, not a whole lot happening here, just some light mortar trades. Here comes this machine gun infantry, from Area, just doing some light peppering from a distance along with the Panzer IV. The Jeep from Brother Glacius coming over here maybe to do some damage to the crew to this AT gun. Though really the allies, aside from the two light vehicles, don't really have a whole lot for that AT gun to shoot. And both of these armored cars, the T-17 and the Greyhound, have dodge armor, so they're not very tough, but they're also very hard to hit. So as long as Alex gets this engine fixed up with his engineers, it seems to have hit by a Panzerfaust or mine or something. Doesn't have to worry too much about these AT guns as long as they keep moving and they stay on the flanks. The main objective that they really have to worry about right now on the part of the Allies is this Panzer IV, because their anti-tank gun here on the right really is just sort of covering this flank where there isn't anything. And I think that is the only hard anti-tank that they have. That said, a very easy way, really, if they can get it in a good situation, if they can get the Axis to overextend, Ideally, Alex should have a stun shot on this armored car, which would let him drive up, stun the Panzer IV, and then they could get the AT gun and the Rangers with bazookas in, and knock that out fairly easily. It does have the skirts, which makes it harder for the bazookas to penetrate, but regardless, that is typically a fairly reliable way to deal with these. I do notice that Brother Glacius' machine gun team has set up on the wrong side of this wall, so as far as the enemy is concerned, these guys are actually technically out in the open. Wants to be careful about that. If the enemy makes a big push, a Panzer IV could really easily take out multiple members of that squad in one shot. So it looks like this AT gun in the middle has been decrewed, so the Allies did have more than one AT gun. I just did not notice this one because it was decrewed. And the Axis are now making a push up towards it. So the Allies want to be careful not to turn that over, because if they do, that's going to be a big mark against them for dealing with this Panzer IV. And I know the armored player, which I believe was Unlimited. Unlimited is probably not going to be happy about it either, turning over AT guns, since this company is going to be relying a lot on tanks, I am sure. But it looks like the engagement, more than anywhere else, is sort of primarily focused around this town, which is a little bit of a problem for the Axis, because it looks like it's mostly just X-Alpha fighting this engagement without a lot of help from his teammates. Of course, Rockfist is making some incursions up here in the middle. He's got a very aggressive mortar here. Maybe he's trying to hit the healing station. But the Allies do get this AT gun back, perhaps wisely so. Let's see if this mortar hit is targeted on it. It is. Great hit with the mortar. I see Rockfist just sort of recognize that this was about to be recruited and just immediately set his mortar up and started hitting it, so that when it was. Does have the T-17 stun shot though, so let's see if he can make a move on this. Here it is. T-17 stun shot, then he's got the bazookas from the riflemen, the mechanized infantry, and the Rangers. Get some decent hits, but the stun expires. They weren't able to capitalize at the exact right moment. Does get a good shot with the AT gun, which was recruited. So they didn't take it out, but they did get a good chunk of damage on it. That's half health. Another great hit from the bazookas. Get a rear armor hit on that. So fairly successful play from the Allies there. They sort of had to pull it together. It seemed like a little bit on short notice, but regardless, this Panzer IV is going to be out of action for a while, and it looks like Unlimited's going to go for some cheeky rear shots. He doesn't see this AT gun, but he does get another rear hit with his armored car that he has snuck around. It's going to trigger the vehicle crew repairs from his armored doctrine ability. And if I were him, I'd definitely be going for this mortar and this officer. The Axis has set up this, he set up mine down. Alright, you can see right there, unlucky. Something comes in, I didn't see what, maybe a mortar shot, triggers his mine on himself? Maybe an off-map artillery piece? But thankfully the vehicle crew repairs are so fast on this vehicle that has so few hit points. Just fixes the engine right up, it's like nothing happened at all. Let's turn on cinematic mode right here and see what his hit points are looking like. 64 max health on this thing. One shot from basically anything, like that. There he goes. So cheeky play didn't really pay off, unlucky there. Over on the left here, we've got Alex just shooting some Panzerschreck Grenadiers from cover. These Thompsons don't really scale very well with range, but just the sheer volume of fire is going to force these guys off. Meanwhile, it looks like he's trying to use the bazookas to destroy this barrier here so he can walk through. I'm not sure if that's a thing that can actually be done. I've never tried it myself. Looks like he is arriving at that same conclusion and is going to move on. Rockfist mortar not doing so bad after getting a lot of kills on that AT gun. 8 kills now on the mortar. We're now 7.5 minutes in. So it looks like the players are starting to get a little bit more aggressive now. Actually, Unlimited managed to steal this AT gun, so that's a big win for him as the armored player. One less AT gun for him to deal with, one more in his arsenal to support his tanks. He's also got this one back here. Of course, facing the wrong direction. He probably wants to send that over to a healing station rather than just let it sit there. But yes, Brother Glacius is sending his Rangers to just sort of... Ooh, nice artillery hit from somebody. I don't think that was a defensive officer barrage because in this patch there's a long delay before you can use those. They start on cooldown. So I don't know what barrage that was, but it was very well placed by whoever did it. So Brother Glacius' Rangers that he took to cover the retreat of the AT gun took the brunt of that along with the AT gun crew itself, and now that having happened, these Rangers are still pinned down from that barrage, so that's leaving area to make a big flanking maneuver over here. But Glacius is going to perhaps smartly use his Jeep to sort of push them around, and that will let him Well, let's see. I don't know if there is actually line of sight here. There it is. He's going to set up his machine gun, which will let him take on this grenadier, and there he's just going to move back with his Volks. Over on the left, Rockfist has moved up with his grenadiers through these trenches. Lots of great green cover here, just sort of directional cover from every direction that he's able to use to move up, but these grenadiers don't really seem to have anything in the way of anti-infantry. They don't have grenades, they don't have machine guns. So they're not really doing a whole lot to these rifles that also have green cover. He's not too worried about holding this flank because he's got the machine gun here, but I question slightly this play to move these up on the right. Maybe he didn't know these rangers were here, but he's taking a lot of sort of unnecessary damage. Double push on the right from the Axis. Now we're starting to get a little bit more aggressive. Alpha is using his infantry here to draw the fire of the machine gun, then using his heavy infantry, the Knights Crossholders, to flank out. I love this. This is great. You love to see that. It's a very smart play. It lets you just take out weapons like that without needing to worry about actually, you know, relying on any slow assets like 105 Shermans, which we have yet to see yet, or mortars or things like that. It lets you be very aggressive. However, it looks like the Allied reinforcements are coming in. These Knights Crossholders are in a lot of trouble. Looks like he's just going to sort of use them to kill as much as he can. But this infantry remains pinned down now by the machine gun in this building. The Axis don't seem to have an answer for that, with this machine gun in the back really just sort of providing cover against the Allies, counter-pushing rather than actively supporting this attack. There's not a whole lot they can do to save the infantry that was wiped out over here. However, Area is going to retrieve this machine gun. It's probably going to die, but at least that removes it from the board. The Allies don't have it anymore. Here comes some red smoke. I think that's probably the officer barrage. We are 10 minutes in, so the officer barrage is off cooldown, so that is the officer barrage here. Glacius gets very lucky there. He elects not to exit the house and bank that the house will survive in order to protect his infantry, and holy cow, it pays off. That almost, I'll be honest, never happens. Area, of course, I think that was his officer, right, commenting on the very same. So very fortunate for Glacius there, but he definitely wants to get out of that building now before some AT gun sneaks up. Area really ought to get some sort of unit to probe up here. Has he got anything to probe up? Let's just switch to his perspective here and see what he has. Right, probably want to bring these grenadiers up, right, probe this building, and that will let him knock it down with the AT gun. And that will kill all the units that he has inside here. Because it looks like Brother Glacius still has not left this building, which I find very... That's 3 units here. Another mortar hit as well could bring that down. Playing with fire here. Come on, buddy. You can do it. There it is. And the last guy goes down to the mortar. But he does get the important stuff out. He gets his bazooka out and his machine gun. Probably wants to get that stuff healed, along with this AT gun. It's a risky thing with the AT guns. You want to keep the crew alive, because, you know, if they get decrewed in a battle, that's bad. But also, you have to keep it in position for things like this, the Panzer IV. So this has arrived at just the wrong moment for Brother Glacius, excuse me, for Unlimited, who is getting this AT gun healed, and I don't see any other anti-tank weaponry for the Allies besides the Wayward Bazooka, which is just going to bounce on these side skirts here. Speaking of not having any anti-tank weaponry, I think this counts. Unlimited has brought on the new and improved Sherman Jumbo with this latest patch. It's got Yak Panther frontal armor, going to bounce a lot of hits from this Pat gun. Of course, the Pat gun does have good deflect damage, so it will chip away at it little bit by little bit, but the Panzer IV matches up pretty poorly against that. That said, the Allies don't have a whole lot of stuff to really support this Jumbo to make any sort of offensive action, and really that's what the Jumbo excels at, right? It's sort of a breakthrough tank. You suppress the enemy anti-tank guns with your combined arms and then send the Jumbo in to just clean up everything else, because it's so sturdy. Once this pack is decloaked, it's probably going to start bouncing all of these shots. But he's sending it in unsupported, and I do not like this. He needs to have his allies come in and help him. He needs to bring his own units. He doesn't really have... Yeah, this infantry down here, this AT gun. This AT gun needs to be right here shooting this Panzer IV. That would be perfect. That would be fantastic. Right? But in the meantime, he is hitting his vehicle crew repairs. But the problem is he's sandwiched himself between this AT gun and the Sherman. Area looks like he's just trying to get this AT gun back. Not going to risk getting decrewed in the middle of this fight, but he does manage to get it cloaked, and with the cloak shot, he's probably going to penetrate here, right? Yes. Big hit on the Sherman. Not a fan of this play. Look at all these units by the Allies that are just idle in the back that could have been supporting this play from the Jumbo. I really believe they could have forced off the Axis from this sector here. They get these machine guns up, they get the AT gun up, they get all this infantry up. Like, look at that. They had all the tools here to counter the Panzer with the AT gun, the AT gun with the Sherman Jumbo, and the machine gun with the Jumbo, and then they sweep in all the infantry, and it's game over, right? 2 players worth of stuff could have easily wiped this out, but instead they sent in this tank unsupported, and now look at it, it's all banged up, and he's going to send it back, and it's going to sit in the back here and repair for, you know, the next 3 minutes. All that out of the way, though, Alex is now making his own sort of push up here in the middle. He does see that there is a machine gun bunker that he wants to destroy with his tank, as well as this mortar bunker with the machine gun in it, which is also a bit of an obstacle. Rockfist is now opening up with said mortar bunker. It's a far shot. I'm not entirely sure what that's coming down on. Way in the back. He's trying to destroy the triage center. Very good. All right. But in the meantime, Unlimited has brought his AT gun into a position where he's going to try to knock down these hedgerows to get some shots on the mortar bunker. That is a bit of a risky thing to do in that if Rockfist decides that he's going to just switch targets for one barrage, he can knock out this AT gun very easily. If the AT gun is in range of the mortar, then the mortar is in range of the AT gun. Looks like Alex brought in his range to get some Zook hits, I assume. He got some Zook hits on the machine gun bunker. Nice job from Alex. Snuck his rangers around, I guess, from this direction or so. Blew up the machine gun bunker with the bazookas and then uses fire up to get out. Nice little play from that. That's one of these obstacles out of the way. But this machine gun mortar bunker combo looks like it's going to be a bit more of a long-term challenge, especially with this Panzer IV from Rockfist now coming up on the left. This is a different Panzer from the one over here, right? That's a Sherman going down. Don't like that. But yeah, I think this is a different Panzer from the Panzer that they had before. Let's see, this is Rockfist. Any other Panzers on? I don't see any. Maybe it's the same one. I cannot recall whose Panzer it was, but at any rate, it's over here, more or less uncontested. Rangers are over here taking some shots at it, but at long range, they're not very likely to hit. With the skirts, it bounces. So he's just sort of having the run of things, and Unlimited remains committed. Here it is, what did I say? All right, he remains committed to trying to knock down this hedge, but Rockfist is, of course, aware of this, and just decrews that. Looks like Unlimited is going to bring his rifles back to perhaps recrew it, but as long as it's under fire of that mortar, these troops are just going to die. Looks like he recognizes that. He's just bringing it back from the Panzer IV into the healing station. Over here on the right, the Axis seem to be making another push again. I hope this wasn't the Jumbo that went down. It's not. This Jumbo is in fighting condition, needs to get back in the battle. But there is another Sherman on from Brother Glacius here. He's got his rear armor turned around, though, trying to get around this building. You want to be careful when you're doing things like that, right? In my opinion, you want to sort of back up like this and then move forward like that so that you're not showing your rear armor to potential AT emplacements like this pack gun here. But things being what they are, the Sherman is faring poorly 2-on-1 against the Panzer IV. However, great hit from the Ranger from Brother Glacius. Takes out a big chunk of health from this Panzer IV that otherwise has been doing some pretty good work from X1 Alpha. Got 19 kills on it in a light vehicle. Perhaps wisely took the Blitz Officer Tank Commander out of the tank while it's banged up like this, but it looks like the Axis do have a repair bunker up to get that fixed up. Oh man, I missed what did so much heavy damage to this. Nope, I changed my mind, I didn't miss it. Unlimited showing his rear armor to the AT gun. The thing about the Sherman Jumbo is, as far as I'm aware, it is only strong with the frontal armor. The side and rear armor is not strong like the rest, like the front is. And so when you show side and rear armor on the Jumbo, well, you get stuff like this. And then Glacius' Sherman also goes down a little bit. I think the Allies had not really realized just how far up the Axis had creeped their AT guns. And without any sort of infantry screening for them, well, that just sort of let the Axis do that, right? If the Allies had sort of had some infantry up front, it looks like the Allies had lost a bulk of their infantry. But, you know, you want to be careful moving your tanks along the front line here without any infantry in front, because the infantry is going to be what keeps the enemy from moving their AT guns up so aggressively like they had done. Now, the Allies seem to have multiple howitzers on, if I am looking at this correctly. One from Brother Glacius and one from Alex, yes indeed. I did not see exactly what they were shooting at while I was talking, but I believe one of them was going for the mortar bunker. If that is the case, didn't seem to have hit very much. X1 Alpha has a new Panzer IV on. No, that is the same Panzer IV fixed up? He has a Panzer IV. I don't know where his Blitz officer is, but regardless, he is moving up, and the only anti-tank he has to worry about right now are these very injured Ranger squads. One nice hit from the Panzer IV on this guy or this guy is really going to do a number on these, but it looks like instead he's trying to take out the machine gun, which will let the rest of his allies move up with their infantry, and is going to worry about the Rangers later. And it looks like that was the right play to make. Machine guns down, that's going to let the rest of this infantry move in, and this infantry cleans up the rest of those Rangers, no problem. However, in the middle, Unlimited is making some good use of this mechanized infantry, making a flank on the machine gun for himself. He needs to get his own tank in there to sort of provide the buff to this mechanized infantry. But it looks like Alex is going to come sort of bail his teammate out and perhaps take this machine gun for himself, while the Jumbo grabs the attention of the Panzer IV and is going to make the Panzer IV back off. However, both of these AT guns are still in position. They did not do anything to sort of screen those off or take care of those. I did say that the Sherman needs to move up, but I would not have moved it sort of past this tree line here without doing something aggressive to chase off those packs. So there goes the Sherman, but it looks like it wasn't a total wash, because the mechanized infantry here with the bazooka was able to finish off the mortar. So, you know, not a terrible trade. That mortar is a big sort of obstacle for pushing up here, and with that out of the way, if the Allies are able to sort of regroup and reform their front line with the reinforcements they're bringing on, like with this 105, here it is. I'm going to put this on a control group and we'll keep an eye on it. Anyway, that clears the way for them to start getting a little bit more aggressive and start clearing this stuff around. And you can see here, for example, Alex has made a big flank with his armored car, which has 6 kills now, and his Rangers, which I believe these are the Rangers that have been on the start of the game. The Axis front line is sort of in a little bit of a disarray, which is buying time for the Allies to get their new units on and reform their front line. Unlimited has this AT gun here. I'm not sure if he has to have recruited this or something because it's damaged, so it would have been on the field before. He wants to get it out of there. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to with Ares machine gun there and the Pioneers shooting at it as well. And he sacrifices some repair engineers for that as well, which is unfortunate, but, you know, at the same time, really not the end of the world. He lost his Jumbo. I think he lost 2 Jumbos now, so he probably doesn't have that many more tanks to repair in the first place. With it's just this 105, and you don't want the 105 to be taking that many hits anyway. It's an indirect fire support weapon like you saw there. Where the Glacier's getting aggressive with his rifleman over here, trying to deal with this machine gun, and he does. And conveniently for him, they get unsuppressed quickly. Inconveniently, they get suppressed immediately again by this mortar. So it looks like that machine gun is not going to be his today. X1 Alpha is going to get aggressive with his terror officer and is going to gun down these riflemen. Stopping to reload. There it goes. Terror officer with his Sturmgewehr takes those down, no problem. Panzer IV from Rockfist just doing some probing, gets a good hit on these Rangers, kills one guy on the squad. Looks like the Axis are now in control of the halfway point of the map, so they do have some increased pop gain over the Allies now. The Allies, however, did reach 40 population first, so this is really just sort of the Axis taking the opportunity to equalize their population, but artillery barrage coming in gets a great hit on this Panzer IV, kills the gunner and brings it down to about a quarter health. But nonetheless, looks like Rockfist is going to press on, escort his infantry in this push here, as Area comes up to support as well with his machine guns. Looks like it's a little bit too much. Looks like Rockfist is a little bit wary to get too aggressive with this tank, but with the bazooka infantry coming around and his tank on such low health. The other barrage coming in back here, not sure where to hit, but it looks like it got something. A lot of bodies on the ground here and a damaged infantry squad. So there's a big heavy engagement going on. Looks like the Axis are trying to just sort of keep the Allies back in order to retain control of this sector, whereas the Allies are trying to push up and take out, in order to just do as much damage as they can. But with all of these machine guns that the Axis has in place, it is proving difficult, even with fire up from these Rangers. They're going to get tired soon. As soon as this wears off, these Rangers are going to get pinned down. But Glacius wants to move these back, and it looks like he does, maybe a little bit too late, but I think just in time to get out of range of that machine gun, or they're going to get away. Now the 105 barrage is coming in, as well as the Crocodile. Great choice to do with these KCH. KCH are weak against flames. A lot of damage from the 105 and the KCH, but no killing blow. Glacius is now fully committed with this Crocodile Sherman as Alex tries to bail with his standard Sherman. Main gun goes down, but I think it might get away as the packs turn its attention to this Crocodile Sherman. Takes a big hit from the KCH, who has the flamethrower, and it looks like the KCH is going to get away too. And with this Panzer IV and this Panzer IV, 2 Panzer IVs on, looks like a pretty ineffectual Crocodile this time. Something else goes down here. I hope that was the 105 Sherman. No, that's there. I'm not entirely sure what tank that was, but it looks like some good play from, I think perhaps that Panzerschreck that's running away now took something out. I'm going to switch to the active axis perspective here a little bit and take an inventory of what they've got on the field. We can see what the Allies have. The Allies are draining pop now, but they still are at 39. But you can see on the map here, from this perspective, it looks like the Axis have quite a lot more on the field than the Allies do. The Allies have been soaking up a lot of their pop with vehicles, a lot of which have just recently died, and this artillery. I'm not entirely sure how much pop each individual howitzer costs. I'm going to wager maybe 9-ish, ballpark around there. And that's pop that, while it's not active, is just sort of sitting here in the back, while the rest of these troops are just sort of fighting outnumbered in the front. As the Axis is just sort of creeping up, these rifles just sort of being a speed bump, right? Now, with these Panzers on, do the Allies really have any hard anti-tank? They have this AT gun, which they're able to save from the clutches of this machine gun. However, it is heavily damaged, so we want to see that get to one of these healing stations to repair. Get any advanced repairs that might still be on to fix that up. Here's a new AT gun and a sniper from Brother Glacius. Another barrage from the 105 coming in. Doesn't seem it's going to get anything this time, so I still am skeptical about this 105 being useful for something. Has yet to sort of make its big play. Artillery barrage from the Terror Officer coming down on the healing station. We'll see if that can take care of it. He wants to get it out of here, but he's pushing it with his own Panzer IV. That officer's going to be in trouble, but the rifles, instead of going for the sticky grenade on the Panzer IV, are they going to get a crit on it? They do. They get the immobilize. Nice job from that. Unfortunately, it looks like it is... Oh, I eat my words. It is... Well, a lot of things happening at once. AT gun takes out the Panzer IV. Sniper takes out the officer. Very aggressive play. Doesn't quite pay off at this moment, but it does sort of buy some attention for his teammate Area to make a very bold play up here. This AT gun has just been sort of sitting unmolested for a while, and it's now provided an anchor for him to move his troops up. And this AT gun is very close. He's got it in range of this machine gun, I think, maybe just out of range, but with the sniper on the field, that is going to be Area is going to be going to decrew as many of these weapons as he can so that his teammates, for example, these Rangers here, can move up and sweep through this infantry at close range with his Thompsons. Area making a very sort of risky play, moving his machine gun around while this infantry is coming up, but it looks like he's going to get away with it because these Rangers are going to run away. And now a new officer barrage is coming down. What is the time? The clock seems to have disappeared. I wonder if I go back. Yes. Another officer barrage comes down, takes out this AT gun. So it looks like that is in preparation for the King Tiger coming on. Just sort of take out as many of these anti-tank weapons as they can. Over on the left, Rockfist has been meanwhile working on this healing station with his AT gun and his Panzer IV. So that's going to be something the Allies don't want to lose, but probably will right now. I don't really think they have anything in position to stop that from happening. Slowly but surely, the Allies are just sort of being ground back bit by bit as the Axis are making these aggressive plays. On the right and in the middle and on the left, just sort of a creeping front that the Axis are doing. And now here comes the opportunity for the breakthrough, as the King Tiger has come up and is going to easily take out this anti-tank gun with its heavily injured crew. It's not even facing the right direction. It's facing towards the Panzer IV. So the King Tiger has no problem dealing with that, and now he has free reign to clean up this infantry, the machine guns, the artillery, and seeing that Brother Glacius is just going to use the howitzer so that he can get a barrage off of it before it goes down. Takes down this machine gun team. So there's that. I guess that's probably the only real target he was able to see at the time. Switch to fog of war turned off. Yeah, he knew that was there. Doesn't really see anything else with the situation that they're in. Here comes another off map from the Axis. That AT gun is certainly going to be destroyed. The artillery takes out the howitzer. AT gun is still in the field only just. But that's that out of the way. That dealt with. There's only one of these left for the Allies, and the Allies, I'm sure, need to take advantage of that right now in order to replace that pop with something that can fight, because as they're getting pushed back like this, really, they don't need artillery. They need units on the field. They're losing pop very slowly, but they're definitely losing it, and they want to get units on the field that can take down this Panzer, that can take down this King Tiger. And I did see the sniper getting forced off. There it is. Not entirely sure what got him, but sniper's been forced off, and so that's one less tool that the Allies have to deal with the anti-tank weapons. So it's a little bit of a problem having lost one of the howitzers. The sniper is a much more sort of direct action type tool to take out these anti-tank guns, so that the Allies can move up their tanks if they have anything that they want to use. Take out the machine guns, take out the mortars, so that they can move up their anti-tank guns. But it looks like Rockfist is going to just decrew this artillery with a very aggressive play from the Panzer IV, and I don't think the Allies have anything in position right now to stop him. But is this what the 105 is good for? Blocking other tanks? There goes the Panzer IV. Allies have a 57mm up, but they have been pushed back into this little death ball as the Axis are now making a very aggressive play with their motorbikes, which I imagine they brought on to kill the sniper. The sniper is no longer here. Don't know if the Axis know that, but this is fine and dandy for the Axis because it's going to let them just get in and decrew this anti-tank gun. And if they see it, which I'm sure they do, decrew the other anti-tank gun. Yep, there it is. The only thing they got to really watch out for here are these Rangers. Now, anti-tank guns are good at shooting bikes. They have very good accuracy against bikes, but like, here's this anti-tank gun down. Right now, they just need to zoop, 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 move around, and they get that, but I don't think they're going to. They're going to want to save it and rather rely on the artillery to take out this anti-tank gun. Looks like they do have the incendiary barrage from the defensive doctrine on their walking Stukas. I'm sure that's what that was. That's what it looked like. There's a large number of rockets. Okay, but that's both of those anti-tank guns down, so the Axis are going to now be moving up with these bikes, with this infantry. The Rangers are going to be running off from, I'm not entirely sure what. They didn't really seem to be in danger from this King Tiger, so I'm not really sure what they're backing up. They could have easily cleaned up these Grenadiers, and this armored car has this machine gun that's gone completely. So I'm not entirely sure why the Rangers are running away, but now they're just sitting here chilling down from there near the 105 barrage. Oh, here we go. Is this the money shot? No. Nope. Alright, this is 9 pop. That's just really not doing anything. This howitzer remains uncrewed for the moment, which I really cannot blame the Allies for. Right, more Rangers. Alex has a lot of Rangers in his company, man. He's being very... I was going to say he's being conservative, but I've seen some very aggressive plays, so that's not fair. He's made some good plays with them, some conservative plays, but man, he's got a lot of munitions invested in the Thompson Rangers. These guys cost a lot of munitions on their own, and then the Thompson upgrade on top of it. Let's see where all of his resource bonuses went, especially because, to my memory, I haven't really seen any vehicles from him, so I would not be surprised if he doesn't really have any manpower spent on tanks. It's all just Rangers. 105 being fixed up in the back by these repair engineers. No, they're just regular engineers. Minesweeper engineers. Gotta sweep those mines. But all that done, the Axis have really just sort of taken over this map here. The Allies are bleeding pop bit by bit. I should perhaps point out that there has been a little bit of a revision to the pop economy changes. They've been pulled back just a little bit, so it's a little bit less drastic. We are now switched to the Allies, because apparently that's where you have to be see the timer. Half an hour in. Axis have the bulk of the map control here, and the Allies are still losing pop at a modest rate, although it probably looks like it's accelerating here. Anyway, let's get back to the action. Some really good hits from these bazookas into the side of the what do you call this thing? This big boy. And it is being forced back now by the bazookas from the mechanized infantry from this Hellcat, although the Hellcat probably about to go down to this artillery, it does. But all of that in consideration, you have this AT gun from Unlimited as well, plunking away at it. All these bounces still do damage. That's just how AT guns work, is moving it up. The engine on the King Tiger is damaged. This might be the Allies' opportunity to take it out. Here comes the 105. There's the mining shot. Takes down a machine gun, an AT gun, whatever this thing is. And get a good overshoot. We can take out these repair storm pioneers as well. It doesn't quite get that, but that is going to be a big way cleared for the Allies to exploit if they have the units in position to push up. And really, they don't have a lot, but I think they have just enough. They've got this half-track, I'm sure it's got something in it, it's got the machine gun on it, so it does. They've got these damaged infantry squads. Looks like he's going to try to block them from recruiting this weapon. Does crew it. It's just the one man with a bazooka inside. But between all these rifles and the rangers and things, I think they had just enough to try to come up and take some of these weapons at the very least. Looks like the Axis are going to get them back though. That said, Alex does have this captured pack. Looks like they're not giving up on killing this Tiger. But unfortunately, Alex gets his Rangers caught out a little bit. But he does have the fire up at just the right time. And so he's got this Pack AT gun just sort of lying in wait, invisible. And in doing so, just sort of has set up a foothold for the Allies to start regaining some of the territory that they've lost, start to slow down their pop lead, which they have done. Unlimited wants to move this AT gun. It is being mortared by Rockfist's mortar. I think this is a new mortar. It only has 1 kill. But he's not careful. He is going to lose that, and he doesn't really seem to have a whole lot to replace it. Crocodile now on, there it goes, to try to deal with some of this infantry. Rangers in trouble here, as well as the sniper on from Rockfist. So it looks like Alex is just going to get as much as he can into this. He realizes, well, okay, you know, I think what might have happened here is a little bit of a misclick. He wanted to retreat the one squad. It died, accidentally retreated the other. So that's unfortunate, but this sniper is getting a lot of bang for the buck. Every one of these shots that he snipes off a Ranger is a lot of manpower that he drains off of Alex's company, because those Rangers are not cheap. And he's also got his AT gun and his machine guns in position here to try to protect it. However, the Allies do have these Jeeps. Jeeps are decrewing them. Here it is. Jeeps are decrewing the mortar. Meanwhile, the Crocodile Sherman has found the sniper, and it looks like he's going to get the crush. Maybe? Maybe? No? Oh, don't tell me the sniper's going to get away. Very unlucky for Unlimited. And now he's getting the side armor hit from the pack, which was just in the right place to protect the sniper. But I think Brother Glacius is going to get it with the Jeeps. He does. So there's the sniper out of the way. One less obstacle for the Allies as they appear to slowly be making their comeback, making some aggressive plays, and the Axis are losing a lot of stuff. Where is that King Tiger? Here it is. King Tiger very slowly being repaired. It's got so many hit points, and it's got to reach full hit points before that armor, that damage engine gets fixed. Right? I mean, look at how many hit points it has that's just going down. If they have to equalize in order to fix the engine, and while it does, it moves this fast. And so the Allies are taking advantage of that. Unlimited coming in with his 105, just using the machine gunner on the top to kill the men's. Got his 105 doing the barrage. Kills a lot of Volksgrenadiers. Is he going to get the AT gun? He does. That clears the way for the Crocodile. Here's the breakthrough moment for the Allies, the counter push. Nothing in position for the Axis to deal with these tanks unless Alpha gets his King Tiger over there, and he is not doing so. Even if he did, man, it's going to take a year and a half to get over there. So for the time being, Unlimited is just going to be allowed. Wow, 19 kills on this Crocodile. Not too bad. It's going to be allowed to just kill these bunkers. Look how slowly this thing is coming. All right, let's switch to Fog of War and see when he sees this coming. He does see it coming. So he has until he sort of gets through this shot blocker here to get out of here. It looks like he's going to milk it as much as he can. Maybe even just leave it here to die and replace the population. Bait it into the AT gun, in fact. Certainly going to go down here, but he gets away. Look at that. We've got some trucks on from Rockfist. It's been stuck on this bit here. Nice armor-piercing shot on the King Tiger. Turn off the Fog of War again. But yeah, this King Tiger's not having a good day. And while it's just stuck back here repairing, afraid of this AT gun, that has allowed Alex to just bring up his Rangers and blow up all these bunkers. So, what has that truck brought for us? Has that set something up, or is it moving something? Here it is. It's the 88. They are going to want to crush these hedgerows with that King Tiger, otherwise this 88 is really just sort of not going to accomplish a large amount. Uh-oh, here it is. Is this it? Is this what the title was about? Big hit on the Tiger from the 105. Is it going to get finished off by any of this other stuff? This might be the moment. Where's that AT gun? Here it is. Bounce. 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 No problem. He doesn't care. King Tiger has a bajillion. Oh, you know what they were looking for was the crit. It's 0 hit points. But the Axis are not giving up yet. They're bringing on some more tanks. They've got an AT gun to cover it. What they really need is anti-infantry to deal with these Rangers. These Rangers have been a pain in the rear end for the Axis all game. Alex has been doing a good job with these Rangers, but some great hits from areas. Rocket half-tracks is going to put a pin in that for the time being. There's a lot of damage, kills a couple guys off of those Ranger squads. I don't know if the Allies have any healing stations left. I don't think they do. So those guys are just going to have to deal with the injuries that they have. Area over here doing a nice sort of back cap. Maybe not necessarily back cap, but he's doing a good job holding this territory to slow down the Allies' pop recovery. But they are back up to 39 pop, and it's not going to be too long before, if the Allies are able to sort of keep up this pace, that they're going to be soon just pushing on this 88, and the Axis are going to be losing pop. But, I mean, saying that, it seems like the Axis, here's their healing station. It's way in the back from when they were pushed back this far. So this is going to stretch out the supply chain, so to speak, for the Allies a lot. I think the Allies probably are going to find that they might be better off just sort of using their units until they die. If they're constantly going to have to like run back here, heal, and run back to the front, I mean, that's going to leave the units that they still have in the front really thin. But anyway, we have a Pershing on from Unlimited. So we'll see how that can do against this King Tiger, which is still just so injured and not looking like it's going to be back in the footed anytime soon. Here's the 105 barrage, and it looks like it has been adding up. Great hit, 23 kills now. Let's see if he can get these KCH. Doesn't, but this is really probably the best 105 I have ever seen, which is a low bar, because these things are very inconsistent. But props to Unlimited, he has been doing a good job with this, although half of doing a good job with a 105 is, you know, sacrificing a lamb to the random number gods. And it looks like he sacrificed just the right number. Rockfest moving his 88 up, realizing this is not a very useful location for it. So really he just needs to ask his teammate Alpha to probe off this infantry from the Allies just long enough to get this set up. Looks like the Allies don't see it. If we switch off the Fog of War here, but Unlimited's Pershing in a bit of trouble. Gets aggressive to take out the CT gun. He does do so, but he's just getting free rear armor hits from this Panzer IV. And gets... Was that 2 misfires from the Pershing gun? May have been 1 misfire and then a shot from the Panzer IV. Panzer IV bounces the Pershing. What is going on here? Unlimited, just get your rear armor turned around. You dealt with the AT gun. There you go. Gunner killed. Okay, now we're looking a little bit in better shape. Turn the Fog of War back off. Brother Glacius gets the flank on the mortar. Who's going to win this? The mortar. The mortar wins the machine gun mortar duel. Incredible. But there goes the Panzer IV with the help of the AT gun. With the AT gun now in line of sight of this new and improved Flak 88 location. Probably going to go down in 1 more shot. There it goes. That's 1 less tool for the Allies to deal with this King Tiger, which has this whole gaggle of repair units on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is actually a unit. This is an advanced repair sappers in addition to these other dudes. So maybe that'll get fixed up a little bit faster now, but this 88, I think, is well timed to sort of keep the Allies back while they work on this. Remember when it started with about 2,000 hit points, now it's down to 6,400 once they meet in the middle. Oh, the engine has been fixed. So I eat my words from before, you can fix the engine without filling it to full health, which is good. And they really need to get this thing back into action, because in the meantime, the Axis is really just sort of running ragged doing these skirmishes. Unescorted KCH, unescorted Grenadiers, doing little one-on-ones. And now Alex has a sniper on, he's going to start picking these guys off. KCH are healthy enough that they can tank one sniper hit, but 2 hits on a guy and they're down. And I don't think the Axis have any healing tools. These are all Wehrmacht players. There's no healing half-tracks, there's no healing buildings. And I don't think anybody has a medic on. I don't think anyone is actually playing this defensive. So unless those KCH have health kits, which I hope they do, that sniper's going to start whittling them down. And now that the KAT has the engine fixed up, really, this is the opportunity that the Axis need to take advantage of, that they have this AT gun, excuse me, this Flak 88 gun sort of covering this whole field of fire, and it's destroying this. Okay, let's put a pin in that for the moment. Here comes the 105 barrage. Tank gun in position as well. Kills 1 man off the crew, damages the gun, snipes the crew. 88 is destroyed. Well, that is the opportunity missed. King Tiger is now more or less on its own, moving up only now that the 88 is destroyed. That is, well, unfortunate, but really well played from the Allies. Bit of a misplay from the Axis, in my opinion. Really, as soon as this engine got fixed up, and as soon as this 88 was in position, that was the time that the Axis needed to make their play. And now that the 88 is down, really, this KT is just going to have to make do. Let's see if Area is getting ready to do another barrage. Wants to take out as many of these AT guns as he can. That's the sort of main obstacle to an Axis victory that they're facing right now. Then the Pershing, which is currently, I think, undergoing, advanced repairs from this guy here. So here comes the rocket barrage from the Walking Stukas. Might get the sniper. Sniper's going to get away. Doesn't get the AT gun either. Very accurate barrage on specifically nothing. So it looks like Alpha's just going to keep creeping this King Tiger up. This is interesting. He's creeping the King Tiger up, just keeping the repair party on it. Brother Glacius, I think that was the last unit from Brother Glacius. So Rockfist saying that he was out of stuff. Rockfist was, yep, it's just this bunker and this'll do. And so that's 1 player off from each side. Brother Glacius is out, Rockfist is out. This is really sort of coming down. Alpha's charging the sniper, but gives up when it looks like he isn't going to be able to do it. Here comes the Pershing going for the flank on the King Tiger. This King Tiger's done for. Nice aggressive play with the Pershing. 1 side armor hit. Bounce. Here it is. Well.
Enemy unit.
I think the Pershing is actually the one that's going to lose here. Main gun. Wow. Alright. I spoke too soon for sure. Mortar hits going down. Kills 1, friendly fires the other, but that's a pack now for the Allies, which is exactly what they needed at the exact right time. Another mortar hit does not damage anybody. We need just 1 more good hit, but it's not going to happen. That was a very desperate play, actually, from Alex crewing that with the Rangers. Oh my goodness. Please. I want to see this so badly. I want to see this so badly. Well, lads, 105. Not superior. Yep. Agreed. Engine cover bounce on the King Tiger from the 105. Anyway, let's take a look at the field here. Looks like the Axis from Rockfist's very last unit has been doing some backcapping to try to put some pressure on the Allies' population. However, over the course of this game, it has stayed relatively even. Both sides have been sort of going back and forth on that front. So, in terms of units that are left, the Allies have this 105, which is almost dead, and this AT gun, which is also almost dead. 1 hit from the KT can take out either one of these units. They have the 105 in the back, which is also almost dead, but relatively safe for the time being. And it looks like this back cap has been stopped, and this 1 little grenadier man has been found. Now for the Axis, they've got whatever this squad is. This guy who's probably going to die. This mortar team with 12 kills. Now this is a tool that the Axis can make really good use of, because the big objective that they need to deal with is exactly that. This was an AT gun, right? Pretty sure that was an AT gun. They need to do that. Kill the AT guns. Fix the engine on the King Tiger. It is not this thing's lucky day. I mean, it is lucky in that it won that duel with the Pershing, but holy cow, man. The engine criticals are real. Looks like this Grenadier is going to get away as Area brings his Grenadiers up to sort of draw attention from these rifles, but they are very much outnumbered on both sides. They do have plenty of cover, but against these kinds of numbers of all these riflemen, the counter cap is going on, the aggressive play, this mortar is in trouble. Here comes the 105 Sherman to use its machine gun. I wonder if it's got a nice target in mind. Allies seem pretty confident in one of two things. Either they need to be bold now to win, or the Axis don't have any anti-tank left. And I think if that is the latter, they are, for the most part, correct. Problem is, this stuff can deal with tanks, and it does. Takes a motorbike out of good measure. And also, now there's a Panzerschreck on. However, I don't think the Allies have any more vehicles. So that Panzerschreck squad is really just fodder for the Allies to capture in order to take out this Sherman. Which they are going to need, because I don't think they have any more anti-tank. I think the Allies right now, their main strategy, I'm sure they know it, is to use this sniper to pick off any anti-tank that they can find and steal it. And I like what Alex is doing here. He's keeping two squads of riflemen closely clustered around this sniper, so that these motorbikes, which I imagine he has to have seen by now, cannot so easily just rush in and kill it. But with the low unit density on the field right now, these fresh squads from the Axis are in fairly good shape to just sort of run around and kill little bits. This machine gun bunker, for example, one of these squads just runs back, they could kill this mortar, this artillery, excuse me, no problem. There's nothing stopping them from doing that. Alpha does hit the healing on his KCH to slow them down, but to save them from the sniper shot. So it looks like they're going to just sort of take refuge behind here for a little bit until he has everything in position to move up. Unfortunately, that is going to make it so the KCH cannot actually effectively get into this engagement here. The Sturmpioneers do have some Sturmgewehrs in with their MP40s. And really, are the Allies giving up? I guess the Allies have decided they don't have a satisfactory chance of finding and stealing some anti-tank. Where's that Panzerschreck? I think I was just looking at it, wasn't I? Yeah, there's the Panzerschreck. Really, the Allies' only chance here is to take that Panzerschreck. I don't think the Axis has any other anti-tank on. And with this AT gun that went down earlier from the King Tiger, that was clutch. And really, I think probably was when the Axis won the game. Well, and my game crashed. So that's unfortunate, but that was pretty much the game. So thanks for watching, folks. It was a good one. Lots of back and forth. Allies had a decent chance of coming back, but they weren't able to pull it off. Well played to the Axis, and Unlimited, yeah, 105, actually pretty decent for something. So thanks for watching, folks. I'm going to figure out what was with this crash and catch you in the next one.